Good afternoon. We are on Wednesday the 24th. So we're galloping towards the end of January, and the sun is out. We've seemed to have missed the worst of Storm Jocelyn, I don't know. So yeah, that's all hopefully all gone away now, and that's it. We don't need any more storms. So how are you all? I am here to do a soft toy. Now, I have these wonderful ideas. I can see them in my head, but I'm having trouble getting it out and onto a thing. I was going to do Malcolm again, and then I thought, I want to do a koala. So I had a look, and I couldn't find a pattern for a koala. I found some now, but I couldn't find any at the thing, and I thought, I could do that. It is not quite going according to plan. Okay, so I started with the first bit ended up in the bin, and then I did another bit and ended up with a bit of a body. Okay, so I've got a bit of a body here, and then decided he was a bit skinny on the top, so he needed plumping out, but I'm not quite sure I got that. But I got his head. I was quite happy with his first face. I thought he looked quite koala-ish. However, consequent ones, I'm not quite getting the koala-ish finish to them. So I thought I'll make it up in a fabric and see how we go. And I think they're sort of a koala-ish, monstery type thing. Okay? He's just not quite gone how I was expecting. And then I thought, I'm not doing this, and got my knickers in a twist like I do, and I'm not doing it. I'm going to make something else. I'm going to do a sock monkey, which we will do because I've researched all that. And then I thought, do you know what? I've got him all cut out. Let's do another one. So this is him so far. I will work on it, I think. He's have you ever noticed how long koala arms are? Because I thought, those are a bit long, but they are very long arms because of course they're reaching out far and they have really long arms. So I'm not quite sure. I think his ears need to be, his ears are in the same place, but I just think he looks more koala-ish than he does. His ears too big? I don't know. I can't work it out. So anyway, hiya Kate, Natalie, Leslie, Marilyn, Melba. How are you? You all right? So we are I'm going to show you how to put him together anyway. He's the dragon that we do and the teddy bear, Tom Bear, all work on the same sort of thing. So I'm just going to show you how we put it together, and we'll see how he turns out. Okay. So yeah. So that's why it's called a koala-ish, because he's not quite right. I can see it in my head. I just cannot make it go together. So let's have a look over here, shall we? So I've cut him out, right? And I've tried to do half of everything. So I already have an arm done. I've done the ears because really some of these things they just come together. Okay, so his ear, you want the ear shape. I mean, if you want to do him just email me and I'll send you the templates and everything before, if you want. The ear, you want to cut 4, 2 in reverse. So I've gone with a lighter one and a darker one, and then I've sewn them together, right sides together, and then I just stick a pinking shears on them. If you're going to snip into them with scissors, if the curve comes out, you want to put in a notch. If the curve goes in, you want lines. I think that's the right way around. So it just turns inside out. So you're just sewing them and then turning them out the right way. You could put a bit of wadding in there. That might work. I've put like a little wave in there because their ears are furry. So you want a bit of a to denote that it's furry. Ooh. So we just put a proddy in there. That's it, just to come out. I managed to get the shape better in the first one, I think. So there you have your 2 ears. Okay, so the next one would then be you're going to build all his limbs, okay, to begin with. So let's go with the arm. So I've cut out 4 arms, 2 in reverse. Now this was a ombre fabric that we had in ages and ages ago, and it was there, it was grey, and I thought, oh, we'll start dark on his legs. You know, you can see his legs are a lot darker than his arms. We'd start dark and work our way up, so we'll just see how he turns out. I've taken a bit of felt, I've put some claws in there. So these are going to sit, you want them coming out of his arm like that, okay? So we're going to sandwich these in between. Now you want to sandwich them, because you want his claws to stick out, you've got to put them in, okay? Now I've left quite a bit on the outside so that it's sticking out, okay? I have it sticking out, so I know that I'm going to have enough within my seam allowance. Now you could pin all that, pin it all in place. In fact, we're going to pin the claws, I think. It's not very big, so I'm not going to bother. I'm going to sew down here, put a back stitch in here. I'm going to leave a gap, and that gap is for stuffing, okay? Leave a gap and then go all the way round. Okay, so let's start with that. So it's one of those projects that I started with, but I'm not sure how it's going to go. So I'm just going to come round his elbow so that I've got a nice curve in that. Go backwards, cut it off. Okay, I'm going to leave enough room for it for me to be able to do a stuffing in and just come round the curve. Now, don't come round too fast. You want to come round, and as you start to lose it, as it comes off the side, just lift your foot and reposition. I'm using about a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and just taking it a few stitches at a time as I come round the curve. And I'm going to put a that there. Okay. Let's put some of these lights on. This might help. Where are we? 3. So now we have that done. I'm going to put the pink and shears going around the curve. So this goes around here. I want to take it round his elbow as well, a little bit. Okay, just to take off some of that bulk where it's going to go in. Now, we're now going to turn that round. Before we do, I'm just going to put in a bit of a fold on the seam allowance of my gap, like that. Just so that when it comes to sewing it up afterwards, there's already a bit of a meeting. You know, you've already got the seam allowance put in. Okay, like that. And then we're going to turn it out the right way. So I'll get my thumb in as far as I can and bring it out like that. And you can see his claws now stick out. Okay, like that. There we go. So there we have another hand. Okay, so they are going to go in with his elbows on the outside. So that's that one done. We're going to go to the leg. We're going to do our leg. So the leg is consisted of, there's all my bits, 2 pieces for the leg, claws for his feet, and a foot pad. So I'm going to show you how all that goes together. Now, as long as you take it slowly with toys, there's no reason why anybody can't do toys. Okay, so we want to put these right sides together. Okay, now again, I'm going to leave a gap for stuff in. All right, so I'm going to come down, leave a gap, come down, and then come up on the other side. But I'm going to leave the bottom open. You can go around the top, but it's going to be sewn into your bear anyway. So there's no reason why you have to sew. But you could just do this little bit and then come round and right round if you wanted to. Okay, so we're going over to the machine again. Hiya Marion, how are you? So we're down here. We're going to put in a back stitch there and cut that. I'm going to cut it. And then we're going to come down a bit. There we go. And then just turn it round and you're going to come up the other side. Right up the, but you're going to complete it. Again, try and give yourself slow down as you're going around the curves. Right, I'm going to come around that curve again, only because I am a bit close to the edge there and it'll fray out. So I'm just going to take it a couple of stitches at a time and bring it round. There you go. Okay, with this, you're going to leave it inside out, okay, and we're going to put our foot pad in. Now, it's quite difficult to see which is the right way and which is the wrong way on these. Right, so this is my right side. I'm going to fold it in half and then in half again so that I can work out my midpoints. It's really badly done, that. I think that's probably more. It's a slightly oval. I'm going to have to hope that I follow the right ones now. I've got a whole star going on in there. Right, so you want to put it right sides together into the hole. Okay, so we are going with that one there. So I'm going to put that in there. Now, I find with toy making, because you're doing little things like this, using applique pins is really good. Now, these are the clover ones. They do one which, if Sarah's got any, she's packed up with Dave, I would have thought. The ones that come like this are even smaller than that. They've got a yellow handle. The magic pins. As these blunt, I will change mine and have a go at the magic pins, but they take up less room when you're doing something this fiddly. Oh, before I put it in, I really could do with working out where my midline is on my foot, on my leg, like that, which means I got 4 points on this as well. So we're putting that one to that point, and then that one to that point, like that. And then you're going to find your midway points, which would be that one, and line it up with that midway point, like that. And line that one up with that one. Now, you can add more pins if you want to. I find they get in the way, but you want to make sure that you're all in. Okay, now this is my toe of my bear, so I'm going to remove that and I'm going to put in my claws again, pointing inwards like that, and put that back in place. Okay, like that. And then we're going to take it to the machine. Now, I'm going to sew it with the pad upwards and take it round. You can sew it that way if you prefer. Okay, I think that should be all right. Okay, so I'm leaning that, I'm putting that with the foot pad up. I'm going to start by there. The best thing is to take this as slow as you can, because you're going round in a circle, and if you go really fast you might lose your seam allowance there. I'm repositioning each time, making sure that it all lines up. Making sure that my leg is flipped. Flip behind. Got to flick your leg behind, you have. And make sure that it's all lying as relatively flat as you can under there. And like I say, if it's too small and fiddly for you, there's no reason why you can't do this bit by hand. You might end up with one foot smaller than the other. I think Sarah's got a spider on her machine, little money spider. She did say she wanted £1 million, so maybe the money spider's here for that. Up. So just fiddling with this. Almost there. Okay. So there we have our foot. I'm checking the other side to make sure that I haven't missed it. It's not very level in some places, but it's not going to matter. So we're just going to trim off some of this. Just to lessen the bulk in our foot, and then trim that bit off. Okay, so again, we are turning this bit out like that. Okay, so there we have another foot. What's a foot? About 12 inches. And it's got his little claws sticking out. Okay, so there's another foot. Oh, there you go. 2 feet. What do we do next? What's next? She says. Right, we are going to do the head. Where's the other bit of the head? There it is. Right, I've already done the darts in the back of the head. Okay, this is the back of my head. I decided that instead of it being, I wanted to make it easy because it's a 1 o'clock. Okay, so I decided rather than putting in muzzles and things, we would just make the head round. But I wanted there to be some definition, so we've put darts in. Now, if you have a look at this, where I've drawn it out, okay, I've drawn it out and it's lined up on there. Not very well, but there you go. What I've done is I've cut the fabric within this, okay, and I've put my darts in. I've drawn them in. I've actually drawn them in with pencil, but I haven't cut it out because that way I haven't got any fraying and it's all going to be inside. So we're going to take our darts and we're going to do them so that this is the right side of my fabric. It doesn't look very even. It's really badly cut, doesn't it? Oh well, never mind. It'll all fit in. So you're just going to line these up. Now with a dart, it's best to sort of come down and off, slightly off, rather than coming straight down. It makes more of a point if you come straight down. So you're going to come down and just come slightly off the point that the dart finishes. Just bring it further down. Where has it gone? Where's the head? Can you see how I've done there? It's quite difficult here. I've brought this down and I've come off at a lesser of an angle as I come off the fabric. It means that you don't have a Madonna point. Okay, less of a Madonna point, let's put it that way. Okay, so we're going to put these darts in. I've got darts at his temples, down at the bottom at his cheeks, and here. Okay, so we're going to put these darts in. So my darts are quite long, but I think you just play it by ear and trying to put them in the right place. I'm sure you'd get a better finish if we'd have put in the what are they called? Put in a muzzle and things like we do with the Tom Bear. But like I say, the idea was to try and make it so that it was a quick 1 o'clock. This was the quickest idea I could come up with. Okay. So there we have our... Now, can you see I came off at more of a point here? So it doesn't graduate, it comes to a point, which is fine when you're doing his bottom because you want that to come to a point. But it gives you that curve, okay? More of a curve for it. Right, for the back of the body, that comes in 2 pieces. Okay, so our head we put to one side for now. This comes in 2 pieces. And you have a dart in this one. Okay, so I've drawn the dart in there, and we're just going to put the dart in. That will give you, when he's sitting down, that will give you a bit of a bum. Okay, there's his belly there, and that's his bum. Okay. I don't think I'm going to take any toy makers' jobs. But they're pretty good for, I mean, Tom Bear comes out really well. Spent some time working on that one, so Tom Bear comes out well. Now in the front of his body, I've got another dart which just rounds off his belly a little bit. So I want this one to come off at a more gentle angle. Because we don't want that to give him a pointy bit. Hiya Anne, no worries lovely. You've done Tom Bear, you'll manage this koala-ish creature, no problem. Right, so there's his belly, okay. We are going to now put our back pieces right sides together, and you are going to sew down to here. Oh, hang on. You're going to put his back pieces together, right sides together, and we're going to sew and leave a gap in the middle for stuffing. Okay? Okay. Okay, so I've got my two dart pieces have lined up. I'll take it down to there. Like that. And I've left enough space. No, I haven't left enough space because I'm going to want to pull the whole thing out there. There would be a one day I don't bring an unpicker. I can't find one here. Does the girl never unpick anything? Right. Okay. I'm going to need to take out some of the picking here. Right, so unpicker. There we go. Just remember to put it back in there. Because I've decided to put the heads on and do all the way around. This now is too small a hole. It's not just for putting wadding it in. I want to be able to get everything out of there. Okay, so we've made most of the pieces now. We need to put our ears on. So I'm going to take the head piece and work out where I want to put his ears. Now, you have it so that the light bit sticks out and then the dark bits show the other side, don't you? Okay, so I want them like that. I'm not quite sure where. I would say his head, front head darts, you want them just the other side, to start just the other side, okay? They might look more like gremlins than koalas when you're finished. So because we want them to stick out, we have to fold them in, okay? So we're going to baste them in place like that, okay? So we want them to fold in like that. So adjust the other side. Oh no, we're right in the middle of that one. Put it down a bit like this. Now I looked at a lot of pictures of koalas. And you find it, I'm going to baste those in place there like that. But yes, the one thing that I was watching videos and things of koalas, one of the things that I found very interesting was the fact that they had very long arms. So I'm just putting this, basting this to the edge. You want to be within your seam allowance, I would say. Like that. You're just holding them, doing it so that they hold in place. Like that. I don't know about you lot, but I'm hungry. So there's our ears. Okay. He still doesn't look much like a koala, does he? Right, so this now needs to be on the front of his body. Now I think when I cut them out, I need to bring this out a lot more. Okay, at the moment the I think the top of his body needs to be a bit bigger. At the moment this doesn't take it in enough. Okay, so again I want it to stick out of his body, so I'm going to bring it down. If I work out where the middle is of my body, these cameras, I wish that they'd move with me. Right, this here, I think I need to make his body slightly bigger. Okay, his neck piece, just bring it down so that it meets his head. Okay, they've got quite a thick body, and I think this just comes in too much now. So there's his head. I want it to stick out of his body, so I'm going to fold it down towards it. Okay, and I'm going to put in more of a no, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to level that up and sew that in place. Okay, so I'm just going to baste it in place. I'm not going to change the cameras because I keep forgetting to put them back. Oh, I'll just cut that. Okay. So all I've done is not baste that very well in place at all. I'm not basting it, you're sewing it, Sarah. Right, okay. Let's do it from this side, shall we? So we're gonna put that in like that. Okay, we're going to do that again, and I'm going to do it slowly. Right, we want the 1/4 of an inch because this is actually being sewn into place. Okay, so there's his head has gone on there. All right, like that. And we're going to take the back piece, okay, like that. We're going to find the middle of the bottom of his head, which is the flatter piece. This is so badly cut, like that, and we're going to line that up there, and I'm going to sew that in place there. Yeah, so badly cut, Sarah Jane. I think as you get to a stage where you're not liking it very much, you stop caring quite so much. Does that make sense? So, there we go. So there's the back of his head. Ooh. That really did change colour, didn't it? Okay, so we now have all of these pieces. So we're going to put them together. And we're going to tuck all his appendages inside. Okay, so his leg, we are going to bring the two seams together so that it's flat. It would stick out here, so we're going to bring it back there. Now you can see you want the toes to come towards the belly. All right. Now you can see that because I want it, the leg to stick out like that, straight. When I fold it back like that, one side will be flush with the rounding of his body. The other side, you're going to get a bit of an angle. Okay, if you do it so that the leg is flush with the edge of your bear, when you open it out, he's going to be legs akimbo. All right, so you just decide on how you want his legs to be. All right, toes to belly. That's what you want, toes to belly. And we're going to stick the needle on the outside like that, so that I can pull them out after. Again, you're going to line up your seams like that and put him down like that. Okay, toes to belly. Decide where you want the legs and then put them in. The same goes with your arms. Now you know that you want it with his elbow on the outside, so you know which arm is which. So you're going to put them in and decide how you want them. If you want them so that they stick out like that for a hug, then by all means put them on so that your raw edges meet. If you want them so that they stick down a bit, you're going to again get that angle. Okay, let's stick that. Pin that in place there, like that. Again with this one. Now you can bring them so that they're further up, closer to your neck if you wanted. Just move that one up a bit so it's reaching where the neck is going to be. And put that in there. And your ears, you need to fold your ears in because you want them on the inside like that. Okay, now you want the only things that are going to be within the seam allowance all the way round are the things that you want sewn in that seam allowance. So you have to make sure that all your appendages are in, and then we're going to put this on top. It's a bit like making a pie. You're going to line everything up and pin it in place. Okay, so we're going to line that up like that and repin. Line that up like that and repin so that I've got everything in. We're going to repin that and repin that. So I've got this all the way round, and then you're going to marry up the heads pieces. That has slipped. Okay, where we slipped? We slipped by there. Let's pull that up. I don't know why I'm pinning on that side. Just pull the pin out and put it on this side would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Okay, so we're just pulling that up so that my head pieces meet like that. Oh, what we got by there? See, that definitely needs to come in a bit. And on here I've got his hands. all caught up down there. So you can see you need to check that the bits that you don't want to sew aren't caught in your pins. There we go. And then we're just going to line this up and pin it as best as possible. Again, you can see where my cutting is awful. So we're just pinning this in place, and then all we're going to do is sew all the way around it. Okay, and then we keep our fingers crossed and turn it out the right way. There we go, like that. Okay, so we're all pinned in place. Keep your fingers crossed now, girls. Okay. So one last check that there's nothing that I can feel that's in the way. I'm going to start here and I'm going to sew all the way around. Now normally we would put the head on after you've done the body bit. However, that needs sewing on by hand. Really, it's a very fiddly job with a sewing machine, which I'd be more content doing with my machine than this one. So we'll come up to there. We're now going to sew the head together. Hook. Again, take your time going around this. Don't go as fast as I am. And make sure that you've got both pieces of fabric within. And before you turn it out the right way, check both sides. Oh, that's all caught up. Right, we're back to where we started. So I'm just going to keep going so that it becomes a continuous line. Okay, we're nearly there. So we take our pins out, trim all our bits around so that we have less bulkage. Okay, so we're going to trim off our leg pieces that are sticking out. Now, what I would suggest if you're doing this is maybe turn it out and make sure everything is where you want it. But to be fair, if it's not where I want it, it's going in the bin anyway. Oh, yeah, I thought then I'd done all this and hadn't changed the camera, but there we go. Okay, just trim off that side. Oh look, I've completely missed it there. See, do as I say, not as I do. Let's just put a going to have one arm longer than the other. Good job I turned it over, isn't it? So there we go. I'm just going to take that off there. Trim along there. And there. Okay. So we've got a hole in the back. We are just going to, she says, just going to do this. We're just going to pull him out. And we're going to birth our koala. There we go. We have a creature. So what I would suggest that you do then is you stuff his head. All right. If you stuff his head, at least, let's unstuff this body. And go up through his back and stuff his head. It will give him more of a, start to give him a personality. Okay. You can start to manipulate. Yeah, he looks more like Gremlin. You know the film Gremlins? Don't feed them after midnight and don't get them wet. God, it's years since I've seen that. Okay, so you're just stuffing it until you're happy with his thing. See how it's darker on the back? And then once you've stuffed it and you're happy with it, it's a bit like a puppet at the moment, isn't he? You're going to take a Frixon pen, erasable Frixon, and you're going to work out how big and where you'd like his nose. Okay, now their eyes are quite close to his nose. There you go. He's looking up. He's raising his eyes at me. So once he's all stuffed, and I would put a lot more stuffing in there, round out his head. Okay. You're going to stuff his arms and his legs and then ladder stitch any of the holes that you've left for stuffing. He's not turned out too bad. I think he's turned out a little better than this one. Okay. But it's more of a how to do a toy. Oh, which one am I doing? This one. He's turned out a little better than this one. I've lost my camera and everything. Everything's going up. There you go. It's a bit high, but there you go. So those are the things. It's more on how you're going to do all of these little elements of your soft toy. Really, I'm done. We'll see you next week. I will see if I can come up with something absolutely amazing next week, but don't hold your breath. Don't forget, Sarah is on tomorrow on Create and Craft. She's got some lovely stuff coming on, and we've been talking today about what's going on next month as well. So some exciting things going on. Lovely. They're quite cute, as long as you don't want them to be anything. I mean, change the ears and the shape of the nose, and it could be a cat. If you were to put odd shaped eyes on there, you could they'll work as a little something. But Tom Bears are much better. Do the Tom Bear. So I will see you next week, and have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget Sarah tomorrow, 7 o'clock in the morning. You can watch that with one eye open, and 11 I think she is. So I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.